Hi everyone, Dustin here from lawyerside.com, where we provide real legal help when you really need it. And did you get injured at work and your employer is saying you actually are not an employee? I'll tell you some of the issues that arise with that and how to prove it and get around them. So generally, employers will claim you're not an employee for one of two main reasons. One is they're claiming you're an independent contractor. So they're saying, hey, we paid you 1099, you had control over your own activities, you had your own tools and supplies, things like that. So you're an independent contractor. There are a number of different ways these can go. Usually what happens is these happen in cases like truck drivers, so drivers who drive to the ports, drop off loads. They're often paid 1099, they're not paid W-2. So a lot of these companies claim that you as a truck driver are an independent contractor. The courts have very consistently and generally held that truck drivers are in fact employees. It depends on the specific case and circumstances, but there's many cases that have held that they are employees. And also, even in the wage and hour division, it's a civil division, they've made the determination that truck drivers have not been paid properly. They did not get proper meal breaks, vacation, things like that. So there's been a very big settlements in that side of the case where basically they decided or they settled on the fact that truck drivers are in fact employees and should be entitled to those benefits. Another case that is really hot right now are Uber drivers and Lyft drivers. You know, are they considered employees or not employees? Depending on when you're watching this video, the law may have changed, but a while back, the Labor Commission in California did in fact come back and say that Uber drivers are employees. That decision was appealed. So as of right now, the day of filming this, there's no official decision in California whether an Uber driver is an employee or not. We do know that Uber hotly contests these kinds of cases, and when they settle it, they don't like to settle with any sort of language that at all implies that you as a driver are an employee. So those are different issues that occur around the independent contractor situation. What it basically is going to come down to is control. Who has control over what you're doing, over the hours you're working, what activities you're doing, the materials you're using. It comes down to numerous factors that we like to go very case specific and determine that in making the determination of whether you're an employee or independent contractor. Second situation that arises is sometimes the employer says, you didn't work for us at all, we don't know who you are. And this can happen in a couple circumstances. Sometimes maybe we have the wrong employer. There's a lot of employers actually with very similar names. Some of them have the exact same name, but maybe they're an LLC instead of a corporation, or their name is off by one word or one letter. So there's a lot of very similar companies, and if you're paid cash, it sort of becomes harder for us to find out exactly who the company is. So in order to figure that out, we really like to get some sort of business card, an exact address, maybe a website, something like that, so we make sure that we have the exact and correct company when filing the claim. And sometimes we do have the correct company, but they're still claiming that you didn't work there because you got paid cash, or one of their buddies brought you on to work for a few months and maybe the owner didn't know about it, but you'd still be considered an employee. Some of them are just straight up committing workers' comp fraud by alleging that you're not an employee, you didn't work there. So in those kinds of situations, what really helps is if you have any sort of physical evidence showing that you were an employee there. Maybe you have pictures of the place, pictures with people there, you have names and phone numbers of people who work there, you have a hat or a t-shirt or something like that. I've had cases where they said our client was not an employee, but he had t-shirts of the employer and he had pictures, and we went to their Yelp page and he could name off who the people were on the Yelp page. So, you know, not needless to say they ended up settling that case, but I've had that happen in certain cases before. So the more physical evidence you have in those kinds of cases, the better. So those are the two main situations: independent contractor, or you weren't an employee of that. They're alleging you weren't an employee of that company, and that could have been because we have the wrong employer, or because they're just committing fraud. So thank you so much for watching that video. If this video helps you, please click the like button below and subscribe to our channel. Also, if you want a free consultation or for us to help you on your workers' comp case, please give us a call at the number below and we'll be more than happy to discuss it with you.